These are 5 crucial tips that every real estate agent needs to know to be successful. Tip number 1.
Know your product. At the end of the day, you need to know who your comps are, what they sold for, what the benefits of the property are, what the potential negatives are. You need to know through and through how this property is going to benefit your client.
How does someone get to know their product?
Research in the field. At the end of the day, if you're a new realtor, agents opens are a huge way to be able to walk through hundreds, if not thousands of properties a year. So the more properties you view, the better understanding you'll get, the more knowledgeable you'll become.
And how many different types of products are there in real estate?
Thousands.
So you have to know thousands of your product?
Well, at the end of the day, if you're into condos, your studios, your 1 bedrooms, your 2 bedrooms, your 3 bedrooms, your penthouses, your townhouses. So there's many different facets. If it's wood frame, if it's concrete, so there's many different individual products out there for sure.
And because of there's so many individual products, how deep and wide should you learn all of this?
I think a lot of it comes from over time with experience, because at the end of the day, depending on the type of clients you're working for, first-time buyers, they don't have the capital that the older generation of the boomers may have. So you're likely looking at smaller properties to begin with, but at the same time, you want to get a good sense of what's going on in the market that you're really looking to farm.
Tip number 2.
Understand your client. At the end of the day, it's not about what we like as a realtor, it's about what your client wants. A lot of the time we're pairing them to potential properties that they're going to be most interested in. So really at the end of the day, you need to ask the questions and get a really full understanding of what it is the potential client's looking for.
Is what the client want the best decision for the client? What if they don't want the right thing?
And that's probably part of the process. Some of it, as you get going with the client, could be potentially educating the client on what might be better than what they have a preconceived notion is as to what they want, right? And sometimes clients have a want list that is a mile long, but in reality, they're going to have to probably sacrifice some of their wants too at the end of the day.
So what's an effective process to getting to know what your client wants?
Use your ears.
Okay. So everyone has ears, but why are some people not using it as good as others?
Many realtors get very opinionated. At the end of the day, it's as I said earlier, it's not what we want to sell them. It's what the client wants to acquire. The more you can listen to what it is your client's looking for, the better understanding you're going to have of what that is, and then it's up to us to go out and find it.
Tip number 3.
Add value to the transaction. One of the most important roles that we have as a realtor is we need to be multifaceted. We need to have massive education, and we need to help the client make an informed and responsible decision that is going to benefit them for many, many years.
Right. One thing that people don't know is they can actually make transactions without realtors. They could.
Technically, yes.
So realtors need to not only sign an agreement, they need to provide value on the whole process of that transaction.
100%. At the end of the day, there's 15,000 realtors that are out there. And so if you want to climb the ranks and become a real producer, you need to be able to add value for your client to want to work with you at the end of the day.
What do you think is the most important part of the transaction to add value to as a real estate agent?
It's easy for a client to look on a website and look at properties. So at the end of the day, part of what a good realtor does is they mitigate risk and ultimately help a client decide on value, whether it be for buying or for selling. But at the end of the day, people may have an idea of what they want, but what they want in a price and what the market's going to bear can be very different.
Tip number 4.
Learn to problem solve. That's one of the biggest things in real estate. You get into a contract or you get into negotiation and you're going to hit snarls along the way. So realistically, realize that it's not about us, right? We're a small conduit in the transaction. At the end of the day, we're representing a buyer or a seller, so we're probably going to have to problem solve throughout the potential transaction, and there's going to be hurdles that get thrown for sure. Inspections can pick up aspect that one doesn't pick up normally, so you're going to have to potentially look at addendums and look at problem solving through, and then you're going to hit some frustrations because maybe somebody doesn't have the same sort of opinion or willing to take the information that's come forward as being truthful.
Is there a specific type of problem solving that only happens in the real estate industry that doesn't happen in other industries?
I think with real estate, often you're on a timeline. So when it gets down to writing an offer and you've got a potential subject removal date, now you've got a period of time that a lot of possible hurdles can come up within. And I think it's the problem solving during the transaction that's actually into contract is what makes a good realtor successful.
So when you need to solve the problem, what is your process of going to do that?
First, it will likely depend on where the problem's coming from, right? If a buyer has a problem with their bank, well, if it's financing is an issue, some of that might be harder to solve at the end of the day. But if it's product related or property related, potentially once the buyer does inspection, there's going to be an aspect that is going to be uncovered, and that can put variables in. And certain certain properties will get crushed by inspectors in when you're in contract too, and that's okay, right, at the end. Because one thing you have to realize is the transaction is about the client, it's not about the realtor or the deal.
How important is it to know the right people to help you solve problems?
Massively, 100%. I mean, from great mortgage brokers to great inspectors, there's a wide varying degree of professionals. And so I think aligning with ones that truly know their product well and can help the client is what matters first and foremost.
Tip number 5.
Learn to juggle. At the end of the day, it's very easy to get fixated as a realtor on the deal that you're working in. But ultimately, to be a successful realtor, you're probably working on 5 to 10 different deals, 30 to 40 to 50 different clients at one time. So it's kind of like balls up and learn to keep them up.
Whether you're a first-time buyer, seasoned investor, or ready to sell, Prompton Real Estate Services is your go-to partner in Vancouver. Their market knowledge, personalized service, and commitment to success set them apart. Take the next step with confidence. Visit Prompton.com and let Prompton Real Estate Services help you achieve your real estate goals.
Is this juggling, would you say this happens in every business, or it's very unique to the real estate business?
I think it's a little bit more unique to the real estate business because in other facets you may have a client, but that client could be very different. If it's a corporate end, you know, you've got a big contract with them. But real estate, it's a bit different because it's individual basis and individual needs. So at the end of the day, the juggling really is the amount of volume that one can carry and one can do. And those that can juggle really well can do incredible volume in real estate.
Because being a real estate agent is actually not that specific, right? You do a lot of things. You can't really define it as one thing. You say helping someone to buy and sell a home, but that's a lot of things.
And then multiply it by helping 50 to 60 people buy and sell a home. So there's tons of variables inside that at the end of the day, and that's really where you have to properly learn to juggle and organize at the same time too.
So for a real estate agent that wants to work on their own with this many clients at one time, how do they organize all of that?
Trial and error initially, but I think a lot of it, you know, you're going to want to get into a good CRM and also just well-built systems, right? To be a realtor or to be a successful realtor are two different things completely, right? So it just depends if you actually want to be what I would term a producer and likely get to the point where you've got a reoccurring business. You've got to be able to juggle many different components at the same time throughout the day, all day, 24/7, 365. It doesn't stop.
Those are the 5 crucial tips to being a successful real estate agent. If you want to find out more, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out this video.